What's up, y'all? It's Patti LaBelle's birthday, and I'm about to. Are we here? We're telling your followers that you've started a live video. All right, we've started a live video. I'm about to celebrate the legendary Patti LaBelle. We have my boy Patrick Riley coming on, who is a Patti LaBelle expert like myself. I mean, no one's quite like me, but you know, it's going to be a good conversation. Miss Patti LaBelle is 77 years old today, and we just going to celebrate because I love Patti LaBelle. I'm from Philly, and I am here. View request. What's up, y'all? Folks are waving. Oh, y'all are coming in. Y'all ready for this this shout out to Miss Patti? Patrick Riley should be here any minute. I don't know who Skip Mohead is. Sorry, Skip. What's popping, y'all? What's up? Not average. What's up? It's Patti Day. It's Patti. Okay, Patrick Riley is here. Patrick Riley is getting ready to come on. Go live. Patrick Riley. He is going to be for the next hour. We are going to celebrate the one and only Miss Patti LaBelle. Patrick Riley.
Sorry about it.
What's going on?
How are you, Clay Kane?
I'm doing so great. Thank you for coming on to celebrate Miss Patti.
Thank you for having me. You know, I'm such a dinosaur. I loved it when you invited me to do this. You said, do you do IG Live? You know, I'm like, oh, not really. But look, we're doing IG Live. We're doing IG Live and celebrating Patti LaBelle. I love it.
We're making it happen. Wait, you should
you
move your camera down just a little bit, Patrick.
You want me to, my headroom, right?
Yeah. Move it down a little bit so we can get a full glimpse of you.
Yes. Let me adjust. You know, I did a little, this is a little jackknife. Hold 1 second. Let me just.
It's all right.
Adjust.
Running hot, running cold.
Let me adjust I'm going to do a little tweak here.
It's all right. Again, we're on IG Live. We're celebrating Miss Patti LaBelle. Just an hour rocking it. Patti. You know, making it happen.
Although I must say, it feels like what do you call it? For Patti, we would need a marathon.
We really would.
I saw your Janet celebration, and you said 15-second excerpts. I mean, that's one note on Patti LaBelle.
I know that's one note. It's true. It's one note. So Patrick, are you good?
I think I'm good.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
That's better. Again, better headroom.
This is Patrick Riley, author, pop culture expert. You should check out his book. That's what friends are for. It's a great book about all the divas he's interviewed. So he is an expert on this. Go ahead, Patrick. I'm sorry.
No. You're good. You keep talking about me.
Yeah,
keep talking about me.
So Patrick knows his Patti. So I was trying to think, who can I come on with, to really chop this up? And I thought no one better than Patrick. So Patrick, I want to start with you here. Tell me the moment that you really fell in love with Miss Patti LaBelle.
Well, Clay, I wrote about this in the book. That's what Friends Are For, on the women who inspired me. Patti LaBelle definitely is one of them. And it really is one of those things where, as I'm the child, the little kid, 70s baby who loved the divas, the dark divas, even the ones whose names I didn't know. And so I discovered LaBelle on American Bandstand and Soul Train in 75. It was Lady Marmalade. I mean, really, to be very honest, it was Lady Marmalade, because I was born in 70, got the chance to experience what I would find out was the return of LaBelle, because I knew nothing of the Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells history at that time. Right. And so then I would come to find out that they had pedigree or DNA with my favorite diva, Diana Ross, a la Cindy Birdsong. And so, I have continued to do deep dives into Patti, not just because she's one of the divas that I love. Vocally speaking, I channel her high notes often. As a child, they would tell me to shut up because I was always singing either Patti or Diana or Jennifer Holliday or somebody that is in the upper registers.
Yes.
And so Patti's one of the templates for that, for me. And she continues to be so, as I enjoy her live performances, not only the ones that we sort of curated a little bit for today, but also just until this day. She continues to deliver the most amazing frequency of live performance of any singer that I know.
I got to say this. I'll tell you my moment to fall in love with her, but I got to say this. for me, Patti LaBelle as a performer really is the greatest show I've ever seen in my life. Just a woman and a band, right? I mean, I've seen Prince, I've seen Janet, I've seen Madonna, I've seen tons of rock artists, tons of soul artists. But the performance that Patti LaBelle gives,
Yes.
you know, I know they say Aretha's the queen of soul. I totally agree. But performance-wise, Patti is putting it all out there. Like the notes, the comedy, the banter with the audience, the rolling on the stage. Like I just think she is honestly a phenomenal performer. Just a woman and a band.
And also the vulnerability, because
Yes.
for a woman who has experienced so much tragedy, I mean, she's lost all her sisters, her mom, her dad, and over the years that she was continuing to let the show go on, she would sometimes bring that sadness to the stage, you know, before her Wind Beneath My Wings tribute or before
Yes.
her Walk Around Heaven. You know, she knew her sisters and her mother and her father would be waiting. These were therapeutic moments for her, but they were also therapeutic for the audience. I know there were many times where I was experiencing my own loss,
Yes.
and I was able to really kind of purge through it with Patti. And I still kind of the rabbit hole of YouTube is something I rely on, especially during this pandemic. Lord Jesus, Patti has saved me on many a day simply because I've clicked on a YouTube clip. Do you know what I mean?
So let me tell you this. So as far as the moment I fell in love with Miss Patti, I'm from
Yeah.
Philly, so she was always, before I knew who she was, I'm always hearing her music. There's certain artists, when you're from Philly, you always hear Teddy, you always hear Phyllis Hyman, you always hear Miss Patti LaBelle. It's just kind of always there. But the
Yeah.
moment that I really fell in love with her is this song that I'm about to play. And I went out and I bought the cassette single for this
Yeah.
song because I just loved it so much, and I would listen to it over and over in my bedroom. But this song, can you hear it? Yes.
Yes.
I heard, just my God.
That's it.
I remember seeing this video
Somebody
on
loves
Video
you, baby.
Soul on BET, and Somebody Loves You, Baby. You know who it is. Just just the vocal. Hearing that on radio was just insane. And the video is just her performing live, and
Yeah.
the end, the wailing at the end was so incredible. And I was like, oh my gosh, I must have been about, I don't know, 12 or 13, but that was it.
Yeah.
I was a full blown Patti LaBelle fan.
Well, let me tell you, I know that song is is that from Winter and You? No, or is that from that's Winter and
Burning,
You?
burning.
That's from Burning. Yes,
Yes,
yes, yes, yes. That was sort of the continuation of the hits,
yes,
right? Yes, he was
absolutely.
continuing to roll out those hits in the 90s,
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
right?
early 90s.
And yes, that Somebody Loves You Baby is a classic for our times. It is what we call a quiet storm template.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? You can always count on hearing that song. And
Quiet Storm, BLS.
I lived in Atlanta at the time, and Atlanta loves Patti.
Yes.
I saw Patti many times during my years. I attended Morehouse. I went to every Patti concert, the Atlanta Civic Center, the Fox Theater, wherever she was, I was. She would come and see me at the beginning of my career at Good Day Atlanta, whenever she was in town promoting. So that's the other great thing about Patti, as great and amazing as she is. Over my years, she's been pretty accessible. You
Oh
know what I
yeah.
mean? Just sort of as a fan, you know, just sort of being able to go to the shows because
Yeah.
they're affordable, being able to, you know, take those moments with meet and greets and know that you'll have an engaging kind of time with her. You know, this is before I became a journalist where I would have the chance to interview her, you know. So Patti has always been one of my favorites from that space, from that angle. Yes.
And I want to add here that I want to hear one of your favorite Patti songs. Is
Okay.
what's interesting about Patti in the 80s and early 90s, a lot of folks don't really get this, is that she leaves LaBelle, and she's afraid to leave LaBelle, and she
Yeah.
becomes a solo artist. So Patti has always said this. The big hair that you would see, the really over-the-top performances in really the best way possible, that was her, she said, trying to be known, trying to
That,
be seen. Because she didn't have, the kind of songwriting machine that the phenomenal Dionne Warwick had. She didn't
Yes.
have the kind of star, the kind of power behind her as far as the music industry that Diana Ross had. So she
Yes.
really had to fight to be seen and use
Yeah.
those pipes in her 40s, going
Yeah.
solo and saying, "Listen, I'm going to be a star. I deserve this, and I may not have the same machine that the other folks had, but damn it, you are going to hear me."
Well, I love to hear you speak of the look because
Yes.
she references her drag,
Yeah, her
and
drag, her drag.
she was referencing drag throughout the '70s into the '80s, and then when she kind of really was doing what you're describing, sort of making sure she could be noticed and
Yes.
get that commercial success of her contemporaries, she really did put on this thing that became kind of ahead of its time because we're
Yeah.
now all RuPaul's Drag Race is in the zeitgeist.
Right, right, right.
Drag queens are in the zeitgeist, but Patti was the first to introduce this concept of drag
Yeah.
as a costume,
Yeah.
as that thing that you sort of add to your raw talent to let the folks, to make sure the folks can see you. And she has done that wildly,
Yes.
as we have seen, and she's done it very elegantly as well.
Oh yeah. I mean, listen. So the big hair you would see on Patty, the big hair. She told me that it was almost like a hat that she was putting on, and I
Yes.
forgot the hairstyle. I think her name was Donna or Don. The
Norma.
hair,
Norma.
no, Norma. There
Norma.
you go. I met her one
Hmm.
time. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Norma would put that on her head, and it was almost
The
like a hat.
fan.
Yeah, yeah.
The fan.
The fan, the
Yeah.
big one. Like, and she said, "Listen, I'm gonna be seen." And for folks who don't know, Patty is adored among the LGBT community,
Yes,
and
she is.
and like you said, her saying words like drag, like not that you wouldn't have artists done up. Diana Ross had her beautiful hair or whatever, or even Tina, but there was a certain uh, uh, artistic drag element to Patty's
Yeah.
performances. The nails, the flying away, the going over the rainbow type of the falling on the floor, the rolling around
Oh,
in
yeah.
circles. It's
Kicking those shoes off.
kicking the shoes off. It's part church, right? It's part church getting the Holy Ghost, but it's
Like a
it's
like a
it's
church
yeah,
tent revival. Very
it's
much.
it's
Yeah.
part drag. And Miss Patty told me that her and Miss Nona Hendrix and Miss Sarah Dash, they knew they were going to be superstars when they were performing at the Apollo in the 1960s, and they saw the boxers and the drag queens going crazy. They said, "Oh my gosh, we got it.
Yes.
We're going to be," when they saw those two groups losing it. So Patty's look, her aesthetic. Let me tell you something. A lot of these folks, they stole from Patty. They may not know. They may not know. But LaBelle, those outfits, the almost like superhero kind of outfits, all that, they got all that. They may not know where they got it from, but you had never seen that before in
Yes.
R&B and soul and funk. You didn't see that kind of performance. So
And black women.
black
Black
women,
women.
yeah,
Sort of pulling outside of traditional tropes of presentation and
exactly.
showing a very liberated new thing. Patty, believe it or not, even though she was just as ambitious then, she was against some of the revealingness of some of those ensembles,
She
but she
was,
went along
yeah.
because she knew that they were onto something, and they were onto number one. I mean that all of that iconography informed what would be the big hit, Lady Marmalade. So that makes very good sense that she followed suit, if you will.
She did, and
But
I want to also add too, and I think part of it too. If I've always said this, Patty fighting for her career. I mean, listen, let's be clear. Patty was a darker skinned woman, and there was
yes,
definitely colorism back then. What this quote unquote BS standard of beauty, and Patty talked about fighting and fighting and fighting, and sadly, even today, Patrick, you don't see enough darker skinned black women getting access in the music industry, being on the Billboard charts. So Patty was really a fighter for her career. I mean, that voice is so flawless, but she had
do
to
you
use
know
this to fight. Go ahead.
where I see Patty today?
Yes.
In Lettucey.
Yes.
In Lettucey. And I see Lettucey making maybe a more empowered decision, independent, that Patty maybe couldn't make in the '70s. Because she was opening doors and trying to figure out how to do it without, as you say, the backing of Diana or the the cultural respect of Aretha, right?
Right.
She managed it all between the husband, the son, anybody that was willing to support her ability and efforts to get out there. Bud Ellison, her music director at the time, I think
Yes.
he actually co-arranged Somebody Loves You Baby. So all of that informed the struggle of Patti. But I think because Patti did those things, Ledisi was able to sort of make informed decisions about maybe walking away from the major label. She was
Yes.
able to make informed decisions about going independent. And she's such a boss right now, all the way to the Grammy she got this year.
Definitely.
You know,
Finally. Yeah.
and you see that Patty's first Grammy was a tie with Lisa Fisher, if you recall.
Right, which was so bizarre.
So,
That didn't make any sense.
you get it. You get it. You get my
I
point.
love Lisa Fisher. I love Lisa Fisher, but
we love Lisa. You know,
yeah.
but the fact that Patti would have to share the spot, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Who does that? All right, so Patrick, give me one of your favorite Patti LaBelle songs.
Okay, one of my favorite songs is, and it ties into this because, you know, she was a kindred spirit of Sylvester.
Oh.
And she and Sylvester both did You Are My Friend.
Yes.
And, you know, Sylvester has took it on to many heights within the AIDS struggle and within the LGBTQ community.
Absolutely.
But Patti still does that song as if it's for our times and for right now. And I'm choosing this quick version. I'm going to play 15 seconds of it from her Essence. And I was actually in this audience at
She's in all white.
Radio City in all white.
Yes.
And let's see. Did I take it from the end or the beginning? Let me see. Let me just play. Okay. I think I took it from the end because I wanted to hear the
part where she goes off, she's kneeling. Yes. Yes. Well, you got it turned off. I can't really hear.
She says she's not tired yet.
She's not tired yet.
And always so gracious. She just acknowledged Bud Ellison and the band. Always acknowledging that band for what they do for her. So You Are My Friend, folks. Make sure you check out that. That was Essence Awards 1998. So you have to see it because that's the other part of this celebration. Everything with Patti is so visual. So we'll play these excerpts, but y'all better go back and look at them.
You gotta look it up.
It's good.
All right. So one of my favorites is Patti LaBelle is performing at Motown Returns to the Apollo.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, first of all, her voice is out of this world that night. But
that was her show. That was her night.
That was her night. And she wasn't even on Motown Records. She was never on Motown Records.
No. But she was Apollo. So, you know, that was the casting of that was a mix of Motown artists and then classic Apollo artists.
Exactly.
All coming together.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so this one is Patti singing You Are So Beautiful with Joe Cocker. Can you hear it?
Yes, I can.
Let me tell you something. I love Joe Cocker. But Patti, Joe Cocker did not know what hit him.
No.
I love Joe Cocker. Joe Cocker, You Are So Beautiful. I give bottle up for my friends. This Patti is going delirious. I mean, it is just out of this world. She's in a red dress, and she said in her book, Don't Block the Blessings, the reason why she went off like that is because she saw Coretta Scott King in the audience. And it just made her just get the spirit. And she lost it. And then Bill Cosby, who was the host, had to push them to go back out there again and sing some more. And Patti just completely goes off. There's tons of gifs from the performance, you know, animated gifs, because it's so over the top. It's so great.
And yet again, she was stunning. That was in the sort of the light blue.
No,
was it?
No, she was in all red. She was in an all red
dress. That was the red, because she changed several times that night.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
But
beautiful.
Absolutely amazing. I listen to it frequently. And Joe is just like, and you know, there's this thing, Patrick, people say that, well, Patti LaBelle always trying to outsing somebody. And you know, I've interviewed Miss Patti, and she told me, listen, I ain't trying to outsing you, but if your power doesn't match mine, I don't have anything to do with that. Like, no one should dim their power. Everybody should do what they got to do. And I've seen people on stage with Miss Patti, like Luther Vandross, being able to keep up. But if you on stage with Miss Patti, Patti's going to sing. That's just what it is.
Yes. Well, then to that point, I think it's an appropriate segue as a Rosser to acknowledge that on the finale that night,
Yes.
they did I Want to Know What Love Is.
Yes.
And
By
it was
Foreigner, I believe.
noted, which is a Foreigner song that Jennifer Holliday did ad libs on the actual record, if you recall. Let's talk about
Okay.
love. That
I
is
didn't know
Jennifer
that.
Holliday.
Wow.
So let's tie that back into this night. This night featured Jennifer Holliday in the Divas medley
Right.
alongside Debbie Allen, Vanessa Williams,
She
Marilyn
was Bessie Smith,
McCoo.
right? Jennifer Holliday?
She was Bessie Smith.
Yes.
Now, what many don't know, and I got this word from from authorities like executive producers of the show, Jennifer did not attend the taping in real time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
She came after the show, which was after the finale where Diana and Patti had their wonderful finale moment with all of the
The
cast.
famous mic toss, yeah.
The famous mic toss. And Jennifer came after for some issues that she was having earlier in the evening, recorded her individual Bessie Smith moment, which was spectacular, I think you
Yes.
recall.
Yes.
But you then almost understand why Patti got her moment at the finale. Because in theory, Jennifer Holliday, had she been there in real time, might have been there to inherit
To sing her
those
own vocals.
ad-libs
Yeah.
that Patti so robustly took charge of when Diana said, "Help me, somebody." So let's just take a quick look at, or a quick listen to that part where Diana says, "Help me, somebody," because I think the people forget that part. And then where Patti comes in and does her thing.
Yes.
Here we go. Okay, let me see. Here we go.
There we go.
This is Diana.
Yep. Listen to Diana. Patty's walking
So
up.
now Patti is coming out to help. Okay, that's
Patty's in all black.
and she didn't rush. She didn't rush. Diana's getting some more lines in.
Right.
But and there's also this joking visual moment of Diana backing up from Patti.
Right.
So like people they act like it was an ambush.
And then Patti took it.
And there you have it.
Patti took it.
One more.
That was a
So you
there would have
get
been
it. And
social
then they
media
went
back
on
then.
and
It
had
would have been
beautiful-
like trending. That was a controversy because they said that Patti LaBelle upstaged Miss Diana Ross.
Yeah, it's clickbait for the time.
Right.
There was nothing to click. But yeah, it's just, I think they played to that historic feud between them. They played to the reality that when it was Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells in the 60s, that it was a quartet and there was a singer named Cindy Birdsong who
Right.
would be reassigned, shall we
Yes.
say, to Diana Ross and the Supremes after Florence Ballard left the group. So there's history there. And actually, I'm a witness to what people publicly love to say is Diana and Patty's coming together at Oprah's Legends Ball. They
Right.
were certainly friendly there, but they had been friendly in many other moments. Patti honored Diana on the Soul Train Music Awards in 1995 with a wonderful medley, Ain't a Mountain High Enough, Someday We'll Be Together, and It's My Turn. Patti and Diana also were a part of Now Rogers' We Are Family remake that was done in the wake of 9/11 as well. So Patti and Diana, I think the smoke is more smoke. I don't know that there's that much fire, but that moment on Motown Returns to the Apollo still stands up as a
Does.
moment. For sure.
But I think Patti said after that she was done doing finales because she didn't want to hear that again, that she was trying to upstage somebody. Because according to her, she just is just feeling it. She's just going for it. And she wasn't trying to upstage or offend anybody.
And yet, when she and she and Gladys and Dionne got together for Sisters in the Name of Love in 1986,
Yes.
Dionne would complain. It was a rehearsed blend, but there would still be a complaint.
You know what's funny? I interviewed Miss Dionne with my Sirius XM show, which is 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. and it's on my
My,
Instagram
my,
page.
my favorite, by the way, my favorite. Yeah,
Yes, thank you, thank
my
you.
favorite.
And and Miss Dion, I asked her about that famous thing of Patty saying that Dion told her to not sing as loud, and Miss Dion told me, it's on my IG. She said I did say that, and I said to Miss Gladys, she's too loud and she's singing the wrong note.
Well, this is the thing. Patty will hit a dissonant note. To we musicians, we know what dissonant is,
Uh-huh.
but she makes every note sound good.
That's right.
Do you know what I mean? So even when she doesn't choose the note, the rehearsed note,
Right.
whatever she does to turn that and make it her own in that moment, which is usually what the case is, it's perfect because it's Patty.
Right. And
But I can understand Dion being the trained vocalist that she is. I can imagine there would be some, and the exacting vocalist, from how she was able to capture those Burt Bacharach, Hal David
yeah,
arrangements with such specificity.
exactly.
Patty's a little more of an improv girl,
Yeah,
so.
Patty's an improv, exactly. Patty's a feel it
Mhm.
church girl. That's definitely where she is. All right,
Yeah.
so let me give you another song. This is
Okay.
actually a LaBelle song, but I love it so much, and I remember hearing it at the clubs when I was coming up.
Yes.
Just one of my favorites. What can I do for you? And the background vocal from Sarah Dash. This song is
Yeah.
amazing.
Sarah really, Sarah and Nona are, Patty is the voice, but Sarah and Nona have such unique gifts
Yeah.
that moments like these, or when we do talk about LaBelle, I love it when we give them their props because their voices are very unique and specific to the sound. And then, of course, Nona's songwriting
Oh,
for a
absolutely.
lot of
And
those
isn't
years.
isn't Sarah Sarah's the soprano, correct?
She's the lyric soprano.
Yeah, she was
Yes.
soprano. Some of those vocals you hear on the bell, those high notes, it's not Patti, it's Sarah. And Patty's voice, Patti and Sarah's voice, there's a certain tone, a little similar to something about the tone. Maybe it's the
They
phrasing,
meet
I don't
in the
know.
middle. They meet in the middle somehow,
Yeah,
right? But I think maybe Sarah's more head and Patty's more nose.
right.
I don't know. There's some kind of distinction there. Yeah, yeah. I agree. I
Yeah.
concur. Oh,
It's
and you know what? I wanted to just add a point. When you made the point about her being a dark-skinned woman and the beauty images, it is worth noting that Patty did tweak her nose a
yeah,
couple of
yeah.
times. And she did it really inside a little bit of what you're describing, but it was also a little bit inside of her own personal conversation and maybe what she wanted to do for herself to make herself feel better. So I just sort of acknowledge that even with the drag, she still had sort of emotional crosses to bear around how she felt she looked. And I feel she was beautiful with
Absolutely.
all noses, all iconography, but I know that she really those tweaks were very important to her. And she, in fact, she got the first information from Stephanie Mills.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Stephanie had a
After
tweak as
Stephanie
well.
got her, Patty inquired in that direction. Yeah.
Someone in the comments said that Patti LaBelle said she regretted getting her nose done. I don't know. I don't know how true
Well, I
that is.
don't know that I ever heard the regret. I don't know that I ever heard that regret. And I think in large order because it did not, and I think we can all say this,
Right.
impact her voice.
It did not impact her voice at all. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. All right, give me another Patti song that you love.
Okay, I'm gonna do this. So remember the album after Winter and You featured "If You Ask Me To," which was Patty's first
Yes, it
Celine
was.
Dion, and then she had a couple of Prince collabos, "Yo
Yep.
Mister," and there was another one on there that Prince did, and then she had a couple of full force jams. I like it like I got it like that.
Mm-hmm.
That was done by Full Force. And then there was my favorite from that album that she performed at at the Statue of Liberty 100th birthday celebration.
Mm-hmm.
And let me get this thing to start. Hold on a second. Yeah, at the 100th July 4th celebration, and it's a song called "Oh People." Do you remember Oh People?
Oh People, vaguely. Haven't heard it in a long time.
So I'm going to just go to the end because it was just, and in this performance, she's singing with a big choir and Billy Preston.
Billy Preston.
And let me just give you a little bit of it. Here we go. Okay. This is it. Okay, here we go. Oh People.
Mm.
There's room for us all.
I got to listen to that again. Kevin E. Taylor said she had her hair cut like the Statue of Liberty.
This was at Giant Stadium.
Oh, at Giant Stadium. Okay,
But right, but you remember, but her hair was in. She got her hat done Statue of Liberty style.
Folks are saying they can't hear it. They can't hear it, Patrick. They can't hear it.
But you can't hear.
That's better. Yes. That's that voice. And you know, that's amazing. And you know what's interesting, Patrick, is that normally a voice doesn't hit their prime at that age. Like in Patti's 40s and 50s and probably even 60s, that voice was still at its prime. You know, the voice is a muscle. And normally, you know, it changes after time, but this voice is just, it's just sustained so well. A lot of people, you know, their voices change from their 20s, you know, it's just not what it used to be because, you know, you're touring, whatever. But for Patti, that voice just sustained, that kind of power at that age is just amazing.
Well, I think there's something about an affirmation, you know, this idea of over the rainbow. I just feel like that's like a real thing for her. And I think that it becomes a manifestation or a meditation of how she would approach her career. She was always trying to get over the rainbow. And I just think it translated, you know what I mean? It translates. You know, I've even said this about Miss Ross, who doesn't have a Patti voice, where, you know, I just think sometimes when they channel their boss, their inner boss, they can just hit those marks. And Patti is one of those artists that hits the mark every time.
Absolutely. All right, so another song for me. This was during a 1985 duet special. And she was singing Time After Time with Cyndi Lauper. And Patti's voice is so good, her ear is so good, that she is able to match Cyndi Lauper's tone. It's really, y'all have to, I'm going to play a clip. Wait, sorry, that's the wrong one. At some points, you can't even tell who's who.
Yes. Patti got right in there.
You can't even tell who's who. And they just start like harmonizing. It's amazing. They're singing live at a duet special, and it's just incredible that Patti, and mind you, Cyndi Lauper, she can sing. Like, that is a singing woman. So, you know, she made sure to not, she wasn't outsung. Like, you know, she kept up. And it was really, really incredible to hear Patti sing that song and just beautifully sang it. It was just peak Patti voice.
I concur wholeheartedly. That and that special was wonderful. She had who else was on that special? She had Luther Vandross.
Yes.
I think they did Let Me Hold You Tight, If Only for One Night.
Yes.
They did that on the special. And she had and then I know she did Dolly's special one time, and they had a wonderful Saturday night. That was on Dolly's limited special. So I want to bring up something that unless you had something else to say.
No, please go, please.
This is something that I think gets lost in Patti's lexicon, and it's the fact that she was in Norman Jewison's directed A Soldier Story, playing opposite Howard Rollins, Adolph Caesar, Robert Townsend, David Allen Greer, William Allen Young, Larry Riley, and she is the sole diva in the movie, playing Miss Mary. who is a part of the juke joint. Did you ever see Soldier
Of
Story and
course.
or Soldier Play? Of course,
Oh,
right.
the play I
And
didn't see, but the
so
movie I saw.
yes, and so she so she co-wrote what people don't realize is a song, Pouring Whiskey Blues, which I think is what I want to play a little bit of. And I just thought because it was a part of Patty's intention to do more acting at the coming into the 80s.
Right.
And so this was 84.
Mm.
And this was really, Patty had gotten the benefit of, or was enjoying the benefit of the success of New Attitude and Tear It Up from Beverly Hills Cop. That was
Yeah.
her first uh, top 20 pop song, A New Attitude, in many years. She had had lots of R&B success in the early 80s, but this was really her making that attempt to cross over. But in addition to that was her being a part of this movie. And I want to just share a little bit of this moment in the film, which opens the film, actually. So hold 1 second. Oh, wait.
It was about pouring that whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Bride. So keep on drinking, so the
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Wow. I haven't heard that in a long time. Wow. Now,
And
speaking
it
of,
was
go
and
ahead.
it was filmed so beautifully.
Right.
Like just as film iconography goes, I'm just upset that, and maybe it has something to do with the nose. Like maybe they don't want to show stuff that's from, but like this should be in all her career clips
Oh, absolutely.
because it's beautiful. It's beautifully shot. And obviously, Soldier Story now, having been brought back to Broadway just before COVID with Soldier's Play in its revival state, it's just something that people should see. So guys, go check out Pouring Whiskey Blues. So she co-wrote a couple of these songs. Larry Riley, who we would later in the 80s go on to appreciate from Knots Landing,
Mm-hmm.
sings along with her in this as well. So I just, A Soldier Story, Patti LaBelle. Yes, she did a feature film and it was wonderful.
And somebody said, do you recall when Patty had the TV show Up All Night with Morris Chestnut? Of
You better
course.
know it. You better know it.
Of course. And Luther was a guest. And I loved at the end, Patty had to sing. She'd bring on Natalie Cole. She'd bring on somebody. Of course. Of course. I mean, come on.
And Gladys, that was that was the continuum as well. The continuum of Patty's acting is, playing Mrs. Wayne
Right.
on A Different World, of course, in the recurring optical feud between she and Diane Carroll.
Great Diane Carroll.
It's classic TV.
I saw Patti LaBelle on Broadway doing Fela.
Yep.
She played Fela's mother, and it was incredible to see Patti LaBelle. This is Broadway. There's no improving, and she's singing music. Fela is about a great Fela Kuti. Great, just African artist. With Zombie and just amazing songs. So the vocal is a lot different. And I wasn't sure because Patty's an improv, Patty's, soul, whatever. But she was amazing at Broadway.
And by that time, had you seen Lilius and others in it?
Lilius White, who was amazing too. Yeah, absolutely. As Fela's mother. Yeah, just Fela, just amazing. Really, 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 really incredible. It's funny. I gotta say, I've interviewed Patti several times. I know you have too. And the funniest part when I interviewed Patti is it was like a 40-minute interview because I was doing it for like 3 different outlets. And so I said, hey, Miss Patti, I'm doing this for urban outlets and for LGBT outlets. And she was like, oh, well, are you gay? And I was like, yeah, I am. And she goes, oh, because I was getting ready to look at you. It was so funny. And then later on in the interview, she, we finished with the LGBT interview, and then she goes, I gotta, tell me who the gay boys like, who do they like, who are they into? And we were like, oh, so and so. She goes, What about Diana Ross? I was like, yeah. What about Madonna? I was like, yeah. And I said, but there's nobody bigger as far as gay folks than Patti LaBelle. She jumped out of her seat, put both hands in the hair, and just jumped around in circles. It was so funny. It was so great. Patti in an interview is exactly who you would think she would be. She is that person. She is exactly who you think she would be.
Let me see if I can think of an anecdote. One anecdote is that at the NABJ convention in 1995, they had all these divas come to Philly. We were in Philadelphia for the convention. So I danced with Jodie Watley on the stage, Vesta on the stage, and Regina Belle. Well, you remember there was a wonderful supper club in Philadelphia, Chez La Belle,
of course,
owned by Patti. And Patti invited singing NABJ people to come and do kind of a fun open mic. Now, we thought we were going to Patti's club. We're going to enjoy the food, the drink. Patti ain't going to be there. Patti was sitting in the back. And so I decided to perform. I thought I was performing not for Patti. I thought I was singing, just singing because I sing. So I did This Day, which is an Edwin Hawkins number that Jennifer Holliday did gospel on her debut album. Afterwards, we were taken up to meet the Queen, and Patti said, boyfriend, I might have to take you on the road. I was like, Said, that's called validation. That's called she never called. She never called. But that moment was validation, okay?
Absolutely.
And then, of course, I interviewed her at Legends Ball, and it was great. I said, so how do you feel being at Oprah's Legends Ball in 2005? And I said to her on the red carpet, I said, how do you feel being called a legend? Because this was after the lunch that had taken place on Oprah's property. So this was day 2 of a 3-day event. So I'm speaking to her on day 2, and I said, what do you think of being called a legend? I said, because you seem so forever young in your movement and how you're looking tonight. And she said, those heifers better call me a legend.
Of course.
And I just love, you know, as you say, Patti is exactly who, you better call me a legend.
Exactly.
Well,
exactly.
Diana was saying, oh, I've got to figure out what we can do for Oprah. She's so considerate thinking about us this way. Patti was like, them bitches better call me a legend.
All right, so wait, let me give you another song. Speaking of legends, this is one of my favorite moments. I know you love this too. When Patti LaBelle was honoring the iconic Aretha Franklin singing Ain't No Way at the Essence Music Awards. If y'all haven't seen this, Patti sang... Patrick, she did that tribute to Miss Aretha. And Aretha was just there kind of nodding her head. Aretha was just like...
Clay. Now, we know the Queen of Soul, we don't speak ill of the dead.
Oh, of course.
She was not happy that...
Yeah, no, but I don't understand. Now, I know... Why wasn't she happy? Do we know? I guess.
Well, I don't know. I just felt like, but you're looking at the video just as the response was, it was like a shutdown response, you know. Yeah. In fact, she got more love from Tina Turner.
Oh yeah, because at the end, Aretha taps Patti on the shoulders, but Tina comes in for a hug and a kiss.
Yeah, you know. So,
but you know what? I don't know. Like, is it maybe? But I don't know. Maybe Miss Aretha was, I don't know.
Let's wait. Let's see the movie. Let's see the movie. Maybe it'll tell us something.
Because they love each other. They really do.
They do. And they were
Aretha.
And people don't also realize they were label mates. So if there was any in the late 60s, so when after Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells did whatever they did early on, they went to Atlantic before Aretha went to Atlantic. Because remember, Aretha started out at Capitol. So when Aretha got to Atlantic to do then those hits, Atlantic focused, because, you know, only one at a time, focused its attention on Aretha, and really LaBelle got lost in the sauce. Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells got lost in the sauce because of that, because alongside that same piece of the timeline, Cindy Birdsong was abandoning the group. So this is all 1968. So I'm saying, my point is they were label mates. If Patti had any reason if Patti wanted to have an attitude, she almost could have an attitude, because it would be the same way that Gladys left Motown disenfranchised with them giving Diana Ross favoritism. It was the same thing in Atlantic between Patti and Aretha.
Well,
Do you know what I mean?
I interpreted that essence. I could be wrong. I'm not a singer. I don't, whatever. But I interpreted that maybe Miss Aretha felt like Patti was changing the melody a little bit too much. And like, because I think Aretha wrote, did she write Ain't No Way? Did she write that one?
Her sister did. Her sister, Caroline, did.
Caroline wrote Ain't No Way. So
Yeah.
I just think I could be wrong. You know, I know we got some singer. What's up, Lamone? Lamone's an amazing singer. I just feel like she probably felt like, all right, listen, you changing this melody now. Like, come on now. That's what I interpreted. I could be wrong.
But you know what? Patti, I love it when Patti honored Diana. She just made all of those songs her own. No Patti LaBelle song sounded like anything Diana ever did because it's Patti, right? And Diana said, "Oh, Patti, what you did with those songs." And I felt like that was a little bit of the Aretha commentary too, kind of like what you did to those. But the thing is, Patti will obliterate a song, but you, as the fans that we are, we enjoy every lick of it. I mean, I'm always Pattyizing pop songs, you know, things that are just on the radio today. And my best friend Ern will say, "Do you have to gospelize everything?" But you know, I get it from Patti. I get it from Patti. You know.
Well, also we have to say that Miss Patti, unfortunately, and she's been open about this, she turned down a lot of songs. Miss Patti turned down "If You Don't Know Me by Now" by High Marble Blue Notes, which is that was a massive hit. Turned down "I Feel Good" by Stephanie Mills. Turned down "Rush Rush" by Paula Abdul.
Yes.
It's hard to see Miss Patti doing "Rush Rush," but she turned down a good amount of songs.
And "Nobody's Supposed to Be Here." Montel Jordan presented that to her before Deborah Cox. And she didn't like it.
Right. So,
but you know what? You see, we're here, and I thought it was cunning that you said, "Join me to play live clips."
Yeah.
Versus album tracks. You know, you guys kind of did a Janet kind of album by album thing. And I think for Patti, you know, her career, it includes recordings, obviously.
Yes.
But Patti is really more defined less by record success and even studio recordings versus then live performances and live versions of those hits.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You know.
No, I agree. Give me another song from Patti.
Okay, so I want to give you from Sisters in the Name of Love, Patti's solo song. So let's quickly say Sisters in the Name of Love, an HBO special starring Gladys Knight, Patti LaBelle, and Dionne Warwick.
Yes.
The Greek Theater in Los Angeles. Beautiful night where they did a 1-hour special. They sang together on many songs like That's What Friends Are For, Somewhere, Living in America by James Brown, and some Winans numbers. What's that song? I think that a song should be something. Anyway, all of that, everything you touch is a song. Yeah. That's Winans. That's the Winans song. So all that to say, they each had a moment, a girl talk behind the scenes segment where the three of them are having cake, Dionne smoking her cigarettes, politically incorrect. Gladys and the two of them are just talking about girl stuff.
Right.
And then they break out, each of them, into a solo song. Gladys did Free Again / I Will Survive, as recorded on the album she did with Ashford and Simpson with the Pips. Dionne Warwick did her big Grammy Award-winning hit, I'll Never Love This Way Again, which was stunning.
Yes.
I mean, it was literally a showstopper. And I thought Patti would do like Over the Rainbow or something like that. Patti said, And let me just play a little bit of what she did, because this was her biggest hit in that moment. New Attitude.
I love
and she made it.
And she's losing it.
Put my hat to my shoe.
I love it.
She's jumping and flying right now. So, you know.
The thing, oh my gosh, I love it.
It was amazing. And, you know, the Sweeties were her background singers at the time. You know, she's going through all these great background singers. We just saw the Jones Girls, Unsung. They sang background for Diana in the 70s. And I love that Patti's background singers are famous like she is. So the Sweeties were her background singers at that time. And she gave them wonderful moments to just sparkle beyond what we hear on the record. So New Attitude is what Patti chose to do to just jam the folks out, and it was wonderful.
All right, so we have to close. I know you like this too. With I'm sure this is one of your favorites as well. This is Patti LaBelle singing "Somewhere Over the Rainbow" at the Apollo. I play this clip on my show frequently, but it's just amazing. I mean,
Is that the hair,
the
like the
big
big,
hair.
like
Yeah,
big,
the
big?
circular hair with the
Yeah,
beige coat on, the black pants.
yeah,
That performance is so epic. If I have my Patti LaBelle history right, I believe that was the night her sister died. If I have this right. And that night she sang "Somewhere Over the Rainbow." She sang "If You Don't Know Me by Now." And she was just delirious. Lamone said she blacked out. And I believe that was not she lost her sister and she needed to be on that stage. And she left it all on. Like, I watch this at least once a week. She
yeah,
left it all on the freaking stage. She's thinking of her sister. You see the tears in her eyes. Like, she is over the rainbow, literally.
yes,
Her soul
yes,
is over the rainbow in the name of her sister. And just it's operatic. It is classic. The audience is going delirious. It's
yeah.
just
It, it's
epitome Patti LaBelle.
a classic Apollo enthusiastic audience. Oh
Right.
my gosh.
Classic. I mean, at one point she's so delirious, she doesn't kick her shoes off, but she sits on the steps of this and just starts singing. Just sits there. And it's absolutely incredible. It's incredible. And I love her for it. And to sing that way after losing your sister, and that's why I say again, Patti really is, to me, one of the best performers of all time. I don't care about dancing. I don't care about choreography. I don't care about flashing lights. It is all about the feeling. And like Nina Simone said, don't put nothing in it unless you feel it. And
Yes,
Patti LaBelle feels it. There's a feeling. You can't escape it. It's in her fingernails. It's in her
yes,
eyelashes. It's in her throat. It's in her hair. It's in her clothes. It's she's anointed in that way. And that
yes.
performance just takes me over the rainbow.
And me as well. And really, all her Over the Rainbows are stunning. But as you mentioned, that kind of, and I know I don't have another select. I didn't even choose this one, but you make me think of Forever Young. Remember, she did that on the Soul Train Hall of Fame,
Yes.
and she was singing off mic, like on the opposite side of the
Right, right, right,
stage,
right.
you know. And just when Patti does those moments that are just like that, those moments, whether it's tossing the shoes, whether it's the show must go on, and I'm here, and let's go. I interviewed her the day that Gerald Levert died. I was I was
Who she
driving to
loved.
Philadelphia to interview her, and at her home. And when I walked into the house, we get the news that, well, actually, they let me know before I get there that Gerald Levert's a friend. He just passed away. She may not want to do the interview. But as proof of the professional, but the heartfelt professional she is, she did the interview. She spoke about him so beautifully. She fed me. And then she had to leave before the crew was wrapped because the radio station wanted her to come and talk about her friend Gerald. Like, that's who Patti is.
That's who Patti
She
is.
just lets that show go on amidst pain, vulnerability. She lets that authenticity come through no matter the drag.
Yes.
I just love that about her.
Listen, one more Patti story I'll tell you. When I interviewed her many years ago, it was at Trump Tower. Ugh, God forbid.
Oh,
It was a Trump Tower though, but it was for a Christmas album. She was so great. And at the end of the interview, I was the last person doing the interview, and she had some salmon and mashed potatoes, and she was like, "Baby, finish that food." She goes, "It was too expensive. I barely touched it. You go on and finish it. It's all yours." And gave me her food, and I was just like, she took like
and you
two
ate
bites.
after,
Huh?
and you were eating after Patti.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I
I'll do it
love it.
again. And
I love it. I love
she took like two bites. She goes, "Go on and say those too expensive. Finish that food now." And I was just like, I love this woman. And I took photos with her and told her how much she meant to me. And I, you know this, Patrick. I've met some celebrities where you tell them like they had a big influence on you, and they're kind of like, okay, cool, you know, whatever. They've heard it before. But Patti, it was like she heard it the first time. She was just like, thank you, baby. I appreciate you. You know, I wouldn't be here without people like you. Just really humble and got it. And I can recall in that same interview, she was talking about transgender folks. And she was like, I don't understand why anybody cares about somebody's gender. Worry about world peace. This is ahead of her time. I mean,
Yes.
nobody was saying this back then.
Yeah.
Nobody was saying this. Patti, and we could also, you know, our time's running out, but we could talk about the way, and for those out there listening, there was a time when nobody was talking about HIV and AIDS. Patti LaBelle was one of the few artists, her, Elizabeth Taylor, maybe Joan Rivers. Miss Patti was out there talking about HIV and AIDS when it was unpopular, when nobody knew what was going on. She visited Sylvester when he was passing away of HIV and AIDS. This is somebody beyond her music,
And
true
and
compassion.
to raise your point, really at a time where things were so stigmatized,
Yes,
he was hugging, kissing, you know, giving the love without conditions
yes,
before people knew that they didn't need to be acting funny like that. You know,
exactly.
Patti was full heart, full love, open heart to our community from the
From
beginning.
the beginning.
From the beginning.
But Patrick, before it was popular, it's not like Patti
Yeah,
was trying to get a gay following, trying to
that's
get an
right.
LGBT following. Before it was popular, she was there. Now all these artists get it. Like, oh my gosh, I better get this gay following because they'll support me when, you know, when I'm not no longer on the charts. Patti was doing it before it was popular. She was ahead of her time. A true artist, and so many things about her I just love, I adore, and I'm so happy that we have her 77 years. And for somebody out there, if you don't know Miss Patti, it is a requirement that you research this woman. She is a phenomenal artist. I adore her from my soul. Patrick, give us some closing remarks on the iconic. And you know, the good thing is we're honoring
Yeah.
her while she's here. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Miss Patti, if
This
you're
is what
out there, here are your flowers. But Patrick, give us
this
some
is.
closing remarks.
Well, for the record, Clay, Aaliyah Jones Harvey, I hope you're out there. That's Patti LaBelle's publicist, and she told me she'd be tuning in. So I hope you're there. Aaliyah, if you're there, we love you. Patti, if you're there, we love you too.
Yes.
Because what I wanted to say is I'm so grateful to you, my fellow journalist, my fellow brother in the business and media. Uh, you know, we amplify our divas, and we amplify our divas in spaces where maybe they aren't being celebrated.
That's right.
We amplify them in places like this where we can let people know more.
Yes.
So I want to raise your point and let all of you out there know that we need you to just know that Patti is more than you think. Whatever you think you know about Patti, she is that much more.
Yeah.
And I mean infinitely more. So I wanted to share things that were not just my favorites, but things that I felt like maybe people didn't remember, or maybe that things that people don't know. Because there's so much more to Patti than Lady Marmalade and
Right.
You Are My Friend
Yes.
and Over the Rainbow. You know, she really is an artist to be admired because she stayed the course when maybe it wasn't popular to stay the course.
That's right.
She stayed the course when there was no hit, and she still was beloved by many. She stayed the course when she wasn't feeling well and when her family just seemed to be dropping like flies, leaving her alone. She is the sole member of her nuclear family still with us to tell the story. I mean, that's heartbreaking. That's heartbreaking. And Patti still delivers herself to us as the light,
As the light.
as the guiding light. And so, if just for this day and for this hour on IG Live with you, another light in my life,
Yes.
I just want to thank Patti for being a light to all of us.
Absolutely. I want to thank you, Patrick. You are amazing. Patrick Riley, pick up his book, That's What Friends Are For. A really amazing book about all these iconic divas that he's interviewed over the years. I adore you, Patrick. I can't wait till we can get back to karaoke, brother. We do karaoke. Me and Patrick have our song. We sing George Michael and Miss Aretha. I know you're waiting for me.
Yep.
Patrick sounds amazing. I sound terrible. I'm like every other note.
You gave a wonderful George Michael, but you know, I wasn't gonna let Aretha be upset with me now. I had to hit them notes.
All right, Patrick. I love you, brother. I can't wait to see you
I love
soon.
you. Be well. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you all for watching. Miss Patti, happy birthday.
Patty, Patty.